Hi, my name is Jonathan Cramer, and this is the Clean Comfort Indoor Air Essentials Overview. In today's presentation, we're going to define the leading causes of poor indoor air quality, educate you on specific issues that can create contractor opportunities, ways to sell the Clean Comfort product line, and ways to promote it as well. So here's some basic statistics when it comes to IAQ and clean comfort. The majority of contractors get involved with IAQ by accident. They focus on household dust, maybe not even health benefits. 2 out of 10 homes have a purification solution. Maybe even you watching this right now do not have a UV or purification solution. 6 out of 10 homes have a simple throwaway filter, and there really is missed opportunities on repeat sales or referral businesses. Well, all of that statistics was before COVID-19. Now we're seeing that the market is quickly changing, quickly adapting, especially when it comes to the contractors. They're getting really, really involved because they understand the importance of IAQ. And it's not even just us talking about IAQ. If you were to go online and search IAQ, news articles and other news stations have also posted good information on indoor air quality. We could focus on dust and health benefits. So you get both of those with the price of one, if you will. 2 out of 10 homes, well, that's not true anymore. We're really, really seeing a lot of homes, not a lot of homes, but just a sales growth in this UV production or product category as a whole. Our UV purification solutions are up over 200% in 2020, which is a huge increase for obvious reasons. And then 6 out of 10 homes are now switching more from the throwaway filters like you see in like apartments to now moving to immediate air cleaners and HEPAs with that extra grade of medical grade filtration. And contractors, again, they're seeing the benefits of selling IQ. They understand how this can increase their not only their business but also their clientele by offering the Clean Comfort product line. Now, if you think about it, we're a one-stop shop. Every one of these products that you see here are all Clean Comfort private label products. And this year alone, we have released a new evaporative humidification lineup, brand new dehumidifiers, and also a zoning lineup. So our lineup is constantly changing. We did not take a break last year. We hit the ground running. We're even going to be running even faster this year by exciting new products that we're going to be adding to the Clean Comfort product line. So why us? Why would you sell us versus other guys, even though that we're a one-stop shop? Well, it's because we leverage our buying power to bring you the best price. And we have quality partnerships. You guys may have noticed that on these other presentations I'm doing this during this summit, is that we have our vendors on the line talking and helping the contractors and the sales guys on educating them on ways to sell it. That's the whole point of Clean Comfort is we want to make you guys successful by giving you all the resources that you need because you do not need to be a scientist to sell IAQ in this market. We have currently over 8 companies that work directly with us. I mean, as you can see, we had 6 product families, and each one of those product families have numerous of models. So we have over 40 plus products that are all Clean Comfort branded. And we're always evolving. As we saw on the last slide, we have 3 new product families that got updated in 2020 and 2021. Again, we're going to be launching some new and exciting products as well. So stay tuned. Always check out our website. Anything that you see today, www.cleancomfort.com is the way to go. We have downloadable colored PDFs, consumer brochures that you can download today. We also have specification sheets. So if there's a model number that sticks out to you, you want to learn more, go to the website, download that, and it's all on your, it could be on your phone or tablet or even your computer. The important thing about the Clean Comfort website is that we direct everything towards the homeowner. It is not something that we sell to or sell through. It's just a simple information thing. And it's a way you can train your guys quickly on giving them the hot topics on how to sell this to a homeowner. When it comes to indoor pollution today, 98% of the particles are visible to the eye. We're seeing that more and more, especially the way we interact with COVID-19. We all breathe the same air, especially when we're inside for long periods of time. So your exhale becomes my inhale or vice versa. So how do we solve these problems when it comes to IAQ? I mean, especially today, right? We're all at home. I've been home for a while, and 98% or more of our time is currently, 2020 was at home. Well, the EPA released 3 main indoor air pollutant strategies. First things first is source control. Now, I want you to think of source control as easy as Germ-X or Febreze. They always say it's 99.97% effective, right? So they never say 100% effective, and that's because you can't ever fully eliminate anything. It's more of a way to control it. Now, this could be for anything for, germs, particles, but it can also be for humidity. We have to be able to control humidity. We never want humidity to be zero, and we never want humidity to be 100%, but we want to be able to control it into the way that's helpful and beneficial to our health and comfort in our home. Ventilation, allowing outdoor air inside your home actually is a very effective way to lower the indoor air pollutant strategy, or indoor air pollutants in your house. And that can happen in multiple ways. It could be infiltration from cracks of windows, or it could be opening your windows and doors, or maybe even just supply or exhaust fans. So we're going to talk more about that as we go along. But filtration is the last key. So air cleaning is very common. I think a lot of you guys understand it. Filters, throwaway filters, they've been around for so long. But capturing things as it's going across the system not only helps the system itself, the HVAC system, but also helps the occupants inside that space. But one thing to keep in mind with this is that this is not an a la carte situation. You can't just pick and choose one of these three. You really have to have a strategy that is going to have all three of them, and that's what the EPA recommends. And that's why Clean Comfort is such a perfect fit. It's because we have products that will go perfectly for all three of these strategies that you now have at your fingertips. Understanding air filtration, the real basic way to look at this is one of two ways. One, you can have a very, very strong, high MERV rated filter in your house, but let's say you never run your system. You never run it. It's never cooling. It's never heating. The fan's never running. You're never going to get full filtration inside your home because you require air to go across that filter for you to capture VOCs and things like that. Now, the same can go if you have a really strong, really high MERV rated filter or a filter as well, but you run your system constantly and you're not replacing that filter. So you have to think of it as ways of, one, are you replacing and maintaining that filter to make sure that it's in the proper condition? And two, are you running your system effectively? When it comes to just basic filters, we have options in MERV 8, 11, and 13 from sizes from 1 to 2 to 4-inch depths. These are our CCF series. Check out our website for these. And these are very competitively priced when it comes to just the throwaways. We even have a hybrid air cleaner, a 1-inch one that can be very versatile in all your designs, very easy installation. And since it is so small, when you're getting that hybrid situation, it's easily fit in the tighter areas when it comes to air handlers or it's different kind of jobs. It's also a 95% effective at 1 micron. So this is a very good filter, the AE10s. Check out our website for that. But then again, we also have our high efficiency air filtration, which is one of the things that we said that people are moving towards, right? Getting that thicker filter, capturing more of the VOCs. With the wider filters, what you're going to get is you're going to reduce airborne allergies, maintain energy efficiencies as well, but you're also going to be able to protect the system as a whole because you're capturing more as the air crosses through. With our filtration, with our 4.5-inch filters, we have our AM11 Clean Fit series. What's great about these is it matches our equipment. You have 4 furnace models and 3 air handler models, so it's very easy to understand. And then they also match the equipment and the sizes. So if you have a D cabinet, we have a D size cabinet for our Clean Fit models. Another thing that's very good about our Clean Fit models is that, as you can see, there is a sticker on all of these that you can see, a Clean Comfort sticker. What we actually do with that sticker is we ship it in the bag to you, and it's something that you can add on later. But what we really recommend you do is have your own sticker. So for example, I would like to do Cramer HVAC with my phone number listed. That way, when the homeowner goes up to check on the filter and the status of the filter, they see my name and my number and they call me for the replacement. So I'm building that relationship with the homeowner. I'm building that repeat sale with the homeowner as well. So you're going to have that homeowner for life. Same goes for our right angle and perfect platforms. These two are perfect and unique for every situation that we have, or if you have a unique situation, this will be an ideal ones for you as well. Then we also have a MERV 13 charcoal option, which is a direct replacement for everything you just saw. So all the models for Clean Fit, right angle, perfect platform, these are a sliding plug and play situation. You just pull out the MERV 11, which is what they come with. and you can slide this in. What this is going to do is it's going to capture more of the larger VOCs. So for example, smoking, cooking orders, things like that. You're going to get the real MERV 13 charcoal that's going to be beneficial. Now, let's talk about furnaces that are 3 to 5 tons. So this is a pretty big space that you need if you're going to require 3 to 5 tons, which means you're going to be moving a lot more air. Well, the more air that gets moved across that filter, we need a way to accept that air into the system. Well, one way to do that is we have to have these furnace risers, and that's because air is going to be coming from across that filter, and now we have the ability to grab it from the bottom and the sides, giving our system the perfect filtration that they really require with that higher speed of air. Now let's talk about our medical grade filtration. These two product lines, we have seen a tremendous growth in 2020. And that's because people are understanding like what are the benefits of this and how this is so impactful for their home. Because again, this is medical grade filtration in your residency, which is where we're at majority of the time. The HEPA's, the HEPA's, we're going to talk about the ratings of that, but both, we have two options now. We have a 10-year parts warranty on the 3-stage, and we have a 5-year parts warranty on the 5-stage. When it comes to HEPA's, how they're certified means they're 99.97%. Again, nothing's ever fully eliminating because we're controlling the source, going back to the 3 main strategies. But as you can see here, is we're able to trap a lot more of the particles. For example, dandruff, formaldehyde, CO2, wood and tobacco smoke. All this stuff is being trapped when you have a true HEPA filter, which all of ours come with. All of our HEPAs are bypassless, which means they do not add any static to the system. And the way they do that is because we can either wall mount it like you see on the left, or we can duct mount them, which are directly into the plenum. But both of these are mounted in the return because air is going to be coming from this, from the space, and it's going to pass through this, then go into the system. And we're not, again, it's bypassless. So we're not adding any static to the system. So our full lineup, as you can see here, we kind of went through all of these. Please check out our website if you have any questions on any of these as well. But again, we have everything you need when it comes to your filtration solution. Purification. This is another group that is seeing tremendous growth as well. Well, the way we like to look at it here is air versus coil. For air purifiers, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be grabbing the air from the space. So as the air is passing through the return, you can see here germs and particles from inside the home are large. They're going to pass through our air purifiers, and they're going to get smaller. And then if you look a little bit further down, you see that we still have a media air cleaner because, again, you need a complete solution to have a complete solution for your IAQ home, right? So as air is passing through this is a continuous disinfection. When it comes to UV, you want to keep them on 24/7, so they're constantly fighting and they're constantly, working in your favor. Then we have coil purifiers, and those can either sit right above the coil, the evaporative coil, or they can sit inside them. And we can talk more about those here. So with coil purification, you have a coil that is not have a UV solution at the top, and then you have one that's in the below. As you can see, it's a tremendous difference. Not only are you going to be reducing allergies, but you're going to maintain those energy efficiencies, and the potential life of your HVAC system can be extended by just maintaining that coil and keeping that coil clean. So when we look at the coil purifiers, we got to look at it as an air handler options and furnace options because they are a little different and the applications are different. When it comes to the coils, our premium product for that is our UC36D1624B. What that is, it's dual bulbs, and it also comes with a parabolic reflector that sits directly above the bulbs. Now, if you think of UVC, think of it as a 360 glow because that's what it is, right? It's just a all around 360. Well, what we're doing with this reflector is that since it's mounting above it, it's taking that light, it goes up and then it shines directly down, which means we're getting a higher dose concentrated directly on that evaporative coil. And again, you have 2 bulbs, so you're getting 36 watts. With our UC18, it's a single bulb, but this fits directly into our evaporative coil, which is a huge help when you go to install because it's just that little hole in all of our Goodman and Amana products. You can punch through that, and then you slide this in, and it has a magnetic base where you see that where the square box is, that's a magnetic base that you can just slap on that coil, and you're good to go, plug and play. It's rather simple. When it comes to furnaces, these sit above the evaporative coil, and we have 2 options. We have a low temp version and a high temp version. So when you see the screen, that's not a more premium product. It's just, for example, it would never work here in Houston for me because all of our installs are in the attic where it's high heat. that'll destroy that screen, and it'll just be, the screen is really made for basement applications or applications where the humidity and heat is not at a 120 degrees like it is here in Houston, Texas. But the screen is really nice and it's really awesome because you can actually program it to be your contractor name. So for example, I can list it as Cramer HVAC, and it has the countdown of the light. So when the light needs to be replaced, it'll say call and then my number. So that way the homeowner knows where to get the bulbs, because again, we don't sell directly to the homeowner. We're trying to let you build that repeat business. And then for the other one, it doesn't have a screen, but this one is also super powerful. And both of these come with, the two bulbs and the parabolic reflector. So you're getting that high dose of UV going straight down at 36 watts and very concentrated. With our air purifiers, we have two versions. We have a 2000 and we have a 4000. All that means is the air that it can supply in that system. So if you have a system hooked up to 2,000 square feet, you recommend that UA 2000. If you have a system that's hooked up to a 4,000 or supplying 4,000 square feet, you would want to use the UA 4000. All right, so now let's look at ventilation. So the next step towards our going through the 3 steps. So we talked about source control. We're going to continue talking about source control because that with IAQ, that's kind of like the overall thing. And then you also have ventilation, right? So we talked about natural ventilation, how through windows and doors and cracks, you can get air coming from the outside. But the reality is, right now our homes are maintaining temperatures like nobody's business. We're getting lower energy bills because we're able to maintain 70 degrees inside our house for a long period of time in the winter. For example, like right now, the home is keeping everything nice and tight. But with it being nice and tight, keeping that air in, we're also trapping in pet dander, BO, candles, cooking, if we smoke in the house, all of that kind of stuff is being trapped inside of our home and has no way of escaping because the homes are so tight. So how do we solve that? Well, with our fresh air ventilators, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to run them to get outside air inside the home and then inside air outside the home. So let's talk about that. So we have 2 versions. We have an HRV and an ERV. HRV stands for heat recovery ventilation, and energy recovery ventilation is ERVs. And heat recovery is just what it sounds. It's recovering heat, where energy recovery is capturing both heat and latent heat, which is humidity. So places where there's high humidity, energy recoveries are recommended. Well, what kind of benefits does it have for the occupants? I mean, obviously, if you open the doors and windows right now and your home, since we're all virtual, you might as well just go ahead and do it. You're allowing that fresh air in, and it does, give you that sense of comfort, and you got that fresh air coming in. And again, this helps lower indoor air pollutants by a crazy amount. So this is a good idea regardless of what you're doing, but having something do this automatically and run it for you is the ideal solution for this, because you're maintaining that ratio from outside air inside the home and inside air outside the home. So how does it do it? How does it work? So again, I keep saying outside air comes in, inside air comes out. But like, what does that mean? Those are just pipes coming in. Well, it's all configured in this cross flow situation. So think of it as this, where it has the red arrow, that's the exhaust air. So exhaust air is coming in, it's going to pass through and go out. We have outside air that's going to come in, come down, supply, and it's going to go out. Well, inside there, as you can see, that's where we're recovering the heat. So whether this is an energy recovery or a heat recovery, the cross flow is going to be exactly the same, and they're always going to be in the center, and that is what we're recovering. So this is kind of what we show. These cross flows that we have for our systems, they're water. You can be washed out, so you can just kind of pull them out, rinse them out, and then put them back in. You can do that once a season to keep it clean, to maintain those efficiencies. But there's really not moving parts, so these are pretty well built and they're pretty stable. When it comes to our energy recoveries or heat recoveries, we have a pretty easy system when it comes to figuring out which one's which. So now you're saying, well, I like the idea. I just need a way that I can easily figure them out. Well, go to our website, get a spec sheet, go to our consumer brochures or our line cards, and you'll see these different models. And this is how you break it out. So VH stands for ventilator, heat, and then you have VE will be for ventilating recovery, energy recovery. But then you have these numbers, and what they mean is it's from the 30 to 160 CFM. So the VH 30 160 would be for 30 to 160 CFM. That's what it can do. If there is an R at the end, that means it's recirculation, so it has that already built in. And again, we have 2 in our lineup. I mean, we have 8 total in our lineup. So check it out. We have one for pretty much every job you can think of. Energy recovery, heat recovery. Check it out. So now let's talk about humidity for health and comfort. Now, I'm going to be talking about humidity in 2 ways. First thing we're going to talk about is what do you do when it's dry in the air? It's too low of humidity, and that's not good for the overall health of or comfort of the occupants in that space. As you can see here, ASHRAE kind of released an article that says you need to be between 40 to 60%. And if you go to the website, you're going to find a lot more information about this as well. But that is the optimal zone. So that is the zone that we want to maintain in our system or in our occupants at all times. And the reason for that is we're getting minimum growth of fungus, virus, bites, bacteria, all of this stuff that you can see and easily read on your own. That is what happens when we get too far, so we have too much humidity, or too low, so we don't have any moisture in the air. It's very dry. So first things first, let's talk about when we need to add moisture to the home because we are very dry. Obviously, right now, the humidity season where we need to add moisture into the air is directly correlated with the winter seasons, because when it's low outside, you have low humidity, and that means you're going to have low humidity in the home. And so when we have those feelings of dry skin, dry nose, throat, lips, there's a lot of things that are agitated when the humidity is low. I know a lot of times before COVID, I would be traveling a lot of times in the hotels, and they would have in the winter, and it would be super dry. I'd be constantly putting on lotion on my hands and my face just because everything is uncomfortable, and that's because the humidity levels were so low. But another thing is when you're looking at the homeowner and ways to sell humidity, it's not just, oh, my skin, or I need to do this but it's also for comfort. You're a little more comfortable when you maintain that 40 to 60. And another thing we can look at is if you go inside a home and you see a portable unit sitting on the counter or anywhere, that's what it's doing is adding moisture into the air. That is the number one thing we could sell against, because all of our products, no matter what it is a whole home solution, which means we're able to maintain humidity levels out of sight, out of mind, and automatically. We don't need to take this little portable, take it to each room that we're in just so we feel comfortable in that one space. Our stuff works in conjunction with the system. So you're getting humidity, you're maintaining the humidity levels at 40 to 60, all naturally and all automatic. So another thing that we have is all of ours are different gallons per day. So for example, usually you see 17 gallons, 12 gallons, 18 gallons, but our steam humidifiers are up to 30 gallons a day. So let's talk more about our evaporatives. So these are brand new, very excited about this. And we have three separate tiers, if you will. We have basic, auto, and premium fan. Okay. So when it comes to the basics, these look exactly like the ones we used to have. We have a 12 gallon and a 17 gallon, and both of these come with a manual stat. And another thing that's good about these is they all require a same pad as the Abrairs, the Honeywells. And so you only have to stock that one pad. Now we have a premium auto fan, which is completely different than what we used to have. For our old lineup, there really was no difference between the manual version and the automatic version, except for you got an automatic stat. Well, there is a market out there that we feel that you can capitalize now that we have a premium auto model. So with that being said, it's a completely different product. As you can see, the basic one is going to be for your, basic needs. The contractor's buying a good amount, but there is a market out there that's going to want a premium auto model that is just going to be a nicer feature. These are going to have a little more energy savings. They're also going to be a versatile design. Those bypasses, that bypass thing can flip out and you can switch it around 180 degrees, nice and easy. And again, they take the same pads. All these are going to come with an option to upgrade them to the AGEON coated pad. And what that pad does is it's going to fight against the mold and deterioration that normally happens when you're trickling the water down that pad. Then we have a premium fan option. It's going to be 2 models. It's going to be a manual stat and automatic stat. These are also going to have like LED indication that shows when you're humidifying the space, when the pad needs to be replaced. And again, this is going to have the energy savings. It's going to have a 50%, water saving feature just because it's with the fan, and you're also getting a a nicer model altogether. So this is we got the basic, premium, and the premium fan. Then we have our steam humidification, which we're extremely excited about. This has been in the lineup for now over 3 years. And the cool thing about steam humidification is not only can it produce at a higher rate, so you're getting that 30 gallons a day on easy, but for our steam humidifiers, everything is kind of happening in the cylinder. Well, the cylinder is the one thing you can replace. So as you're replacing the cylinder, it's like you're getting a brand new unit every time. So let's walk through what the cylinder does because it's actually pretty advanced and it's doing this all automatically. Homeowner has no idea this is happening. As you can see on the bottom, you have a water inlet and outlet with the strainer. What that does is when the cylinder gets low, it adds water through the inlet. But if the strainer is starting to see that there's like minerals or hardness or the water's getting a little needs to be refreshed, it can just auto cycle it down and fill it back up. And it could do this numerous of times. But again, depending on how often you run in the season, you're going to have to replace these. But again, the electrodes, which is the things that heat up that water to a steam level, is all in the cylinder. So when you get that new cylinder, you're getting a new system. And again, obviously the steam output is where the steam goes into the systems. All right, so we talked about the discomforts. We talked about ways we can solve humidity. When we have low humidity, it's just low, dry, everything's dry. But again, we're controlling it. We want to control it to be at a 40 to 60%. So we need to add moisture into the air. So that was one way. Now let's talk about when humidity is too high. Because again, they're going to get the same growth and the same features. As you can see, that, like, for example, viruses, they're growing when you have low humidity, but they're also growing when you have high humidity, but in that 40 to 60% is when they're minimum. So we now have too much humidity, which is pretty easy to relate to myself because I live in Houston, Texas, where we have humidity. I could give humidity to anyone on this call right now if you want it. We have plenty to spare and we have an excess amount, but we want to control it. We do not want things to be completely dry because when it's completely dry, you then need a humidifier to add moisture in the air. What we want to do is control that to the 40 to 60%, just like we talked about. So why does dehumidification matter? We talked about it. The virus growths, all that stuff is growing when you have too much. You get mold, mildew, get that smell that just kind of smells gross, especially when you have hardwood floors. There's a lot of things that can go wrong when there's too much humidity in the air. You want to protect your valuables, right? I mean, everything that you're doing in your home, maybe you were a DIYer, and this goes for both humidifying and dehumidifying, is that you want to protect your assets, right? Like things that you have spent your hard-earned money on. And same with the homeowner, they've done all this, they've added all this stuff to their house. You need a time to protect it. And humidification is a way to do that. Now, again, we don't want everything to be completely dry. We want it to be we want to control the source to be at that 40 to 60%. Obviously the EPA release, they talk about the health benefits associated with it, upper nasal symptoms, you can have asthma symptoms. There's a lot of things that could go wrong when you have this health-wise, when you have too much humidity in the air. So ways we can talk to the homeowner about it. How are your allergies? You have that muggy feeling. Then we talked about that smell. The smell is you can easily smell it. It's kind of smells muggy. It's uncomfortable. Like you're constantly running your system. For example, maybe 72 degrees for you is just too hot because there's too much humidity. You just kind of feel gross. You're it's a little sticky. Things like that can help maintain it. So when you're maintaining that levels at 40 to 60, lowering the humidity in the air, you're going to be a little bit more comfortable at 72 degrees. That's just that's just science of it as all. But again, identifying a need or explain the benefits. Do they have a basement? Is there areas of their house? Is there mold? Is there mildew growing? A lot of this stuff is ways you can sell dehumidifiers to the homeowner. Now, what's exciting about our brand new ones is that they're now ventilating dehumidifiers, but they also come with a leading 6-year parts warranty field scrap on all of our products. We have a 65, a 90, and a 120. All of these are going to come with a MERV 11 filtration, and they have an E-coated coil. What that E-coated coil is going to do is it's going to extend the life of these. I mean, that's why we're so confident in these that we're giving an extra year than what we were giving in our previous old ones. We're also going to have the option to ventilate. Our old models, only one of them was able to ventilate. Now we have 3 models that are able to ventilate. What's also really cool about this lineup is that we have the DVO 65 actually has an onboard thermostat. So this can actually be located as a standalone or essentially ducted. And all of our dehumidifiers are a whole home solution. So if you walk into a home and you see a portable dehumidifier in one of the rooms, this is one way we can easily sell against it because ours are whole home. We're attacking the whole space. You don't have to empty the tanks because obviously if you have a portable unit, you're getting you're getting moisture from outside the or inside the house into this tank, right? So we're grabbing it, we're putting it in a tank. What is that tank going to do after an hour or 2 hours? It's going to fill up, right? And how do you think it empties it? Well, the homeowner's going to have to pick it up and dump it down. Now, with our whole home solutions, none of that matters. Everything is taken care of. You're getting you're getting the humidity from the air and we're dumping it outside, right? We're taking care of it. This runs in conjunction with the HVAC system, so it's very easy to install. And we're very excited about these. So check out our website, check out the ventilated dehumidifiers to learn more. So ways to sell zoning. Let's talk about that. So imagine if I were to walk into your house right now. Let's say all the lights were off and I flipped one switch right by the door. Would all the lights now turn on all at once? No, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. We have multiple light switches to control multiple lights and throughout our house. Well, can you imagine if that was the idea we had for air conditioning? Because most homes have a centrally located thermostat, just like you see right here at 72 degrees. And what happens to the home? You have natural tendencies, swings. The basement, 69 degrees, it's naturally colder. And what does hot air do? Well, it rises. So at the top level, you're going to get around 76 degrees. And that's just naturally way. But why is that? Why is it that our toilets, when we flush them, the upstairs does not flush all the toilets? Or when we turn on a light switch, you don't turn them all on throughout the house. But we do that same thing for our home where we live, where we spend most of our time. We also have our cars have driver and passenger temperatures, but the place that we spend 90% of our time, majority of the homes do not have zoning. This is a huge market that we are very excited to be a part of. We have partnered with the best, panels that we can offer with IOHVAC. We're actually doing our own separate, presentation with them during this course. So please check that out. And we look forward to talking with that. Not only me, but we have the vendor, Jared Dubell, on that as well. So very excited for that. So with homeowners, how do you sell this to a homeowner besides, the initial, why do we have zoning? And it's just as simple as, is there areas of your house that are too hot or too cold? So if we look at this, 76 degrees is upstairs. Well, maybe in this particular home, in this particular example, the kids are only the ones upstairs. So for them, they leave, maybe they go to school for 8 hours a day. Do we need to be satisfying that space upstairs? Or maybe the basement, no one's in the basement for 8 hours a day. Do we need to have that be satisfied? Can we make that one be at a different temperature, but only maintaining that 72 degrees in the middle level? Those are ways you can save. Now, if this was a Houston, Texas example, and we had 3 zones, and we wanted all 3 zones to be at 69 degrees, obviously we wouldn't see any energy savings because we're running that system to its max. And so you want to be careful when you talk about energy savings because not always does it, zoning satisfy that, but majority of the time it will. With contractors, this brings more money to your bottom line. It builds that case, you're building that relationship, and you're going to be way more successful. And, obviously these zoning equipments are actually pretty easy to install. And we talk about that in our very in-depth hour-long presentation. So check that out. So again, we talked about it with homeowners. You want to stress comfort, you want to stress energy savings. There's ways you could do that. There's ways you can't do that. But overall, zoning does maintain that, and it does help with those areas that are too hot and too cold. And again, contractors, they're going to get more on their bottom line. When it comes to our zone panels, whether it's our premium option or if it's our economy version, it doesn't matter. All of ours will be just like our Comfort Bridge and the Goodman and Amana systems, where we accept any 24-volt single-stage thermostat. So whether that be Nest, Ecobee, Brayburn, or even the ProStat ones or Honeywell, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is if you have a 3-zone system, you're going to need three thermostats, and we like all 3 of those to be exactly the same. So if you're going to do one of Brayburn, put all 3 Brayburns, Honeywell, Ecobee, Nest, make them all 3. but it doesn't matter if it's programmable or non-programmable. It just needs to have one for each exact zone. So with our full lineup, we have a bypass list, which is our premium product. You're going to get a full kit, and this kit is actually going to come with a 10-year panel warranty, which is 5 years over the energy of the standard out there. So how is this bypass list? Well, we're going to talk about this way more in depth in our presentation later. But to give you guys kind of like a sneak peek, what it does is that it comes with, the kits come with electronic static pressure, which stands for ESP. So if you want to check it out on the website, any model with the ESP is our premium version. And what it's going to do is it's going to constantly monitor the static pressure inside the supply. If it passes through the threshold set by the contractor with the dial, as you can see, it's kind of a dial, what it's going to do, it's going to open the non-calling zones ever so slightly. When I mean ever so slightly, I mean 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. All of that is easily maintained because these are fully modulating. We can control them, and there's the all power open, power close, 3-wire dampers. These dampers are going to be Belimo actuators, and they're going to come with a 5-year warranty on those. Now, the economy versions, they're going to need a way to regulate the static pressure because they're not going to come with that ESP electronic static pressure like the premium ones do. But we have ways you could do that with the simple barometric or electronic, whatever the job requires. But again, these will require a bypass. But they're also a kit, so you're also going to get that transformer and that temperature sensor associated with the kit. These panels are actually going to come with a 5-year warranty, so it's going to be your direct competitor with EWC, Honeywell, and those guys on the market. These kits were also we recommend the 2-wire dampers, and these are going to be limited positions, but they're also going to be Belimo actuators. So these are going to be very, very strong, and they're also going to have a 5-year warranty on those as well. So check out that presentation to learn more. So our Clean Comfort product family, we kind of talked about them all. We talked about all 6 product families. We talked about filtration and the way that it's good. We talked about the HEPAs. We talked about the new MERVs, and we talked about our throwaway filter. So all those are very valuable when it comes to the filtration. Humidification, we talked about when there's environments where you need to add moisture in the air, because again, we don't want to eliminate it, but we want to keep it safe and maintain that 40 to 60%. Dehumidification, we talked about when you have an excess amount, we need to remove moisture from the air, but you never want it to fully eliminate anything. We just want to be able to control it to that 40 to 60%. Purification, you're going to have coil versus air purifiers. Both of these are 24/7 purification, and we have a lineup for both air handlers and furnaces that meet your needs. Ventilation, we have energy recovery ventilators and HRV, energy recovery ventilators. So we talked about how energy recovery is for latent heat and heat, so places where there's high humidity. We talked about HRVs being perfect for areas where there is in the north where there's not a lot of humidity, but these will work perfectly as well. Then we talked about zoning. We gave a little bit of a sneak peek of what our presentation is going to be like. So please check that zoning presentation out to get that full details on that. Well, other than that, that's all I have for you guys. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining this breakout session. Thank you.